Hi, it's me, Brooks. Welcome to Heal This. Good morning. If it's not morning, it is here. I just rolled out of bed and I didn't have anything prepared. So I am focusing on delivering what it is that's coming to me right now. So I wanted to talk a little bit about manifesting and the lessons I've learned around it and try to simplify it for you because it is simple, but we tend to make it not simple. So if you don't know what manifesting is, I would encourage you to go look up several definitions because my definition might not be the best one, but it is when we call into our lives the things that we want and desire, and they show up because we had an active part in calling them into our life. So, how do we do this? What are some tips and lessons I can give to you that I've learned? Because it's definitely something that I do all the time. So, the thing about manifesting is that we are doing it all the time, whether we are conscious of our intentions or not. And so, this is the part where we really want to be intentional about what it is that we are calling into our life. And a lot of times, this starts with an idea or a feeling that we need to do something different. I say sometimes it is a call. And that to me means that it's something that I feel in my heart and in my gut that is meant for me. I feel it in my bones. It's something that I'm supposed to do, is how I really feel it. And also, sometimes we get this nudge, like people start showing us things or keep showing up in our life, like, oh, maybe I want to go back to school, or I should focus on calling in my soulmate, or I would really like to make more money. And so here are things that's how it kind of shows up at first, as we kind of get these ideas that we want to make a change. A lot of times our logical brain will say, is that really what you want? Can you even do that? Is that something that you can even do or achieve? And then our spiritual energy will be like, we can do it. This is something meant for us. We'll feel it inside of our hearts, and we'll feel it and we'll want to go with it. So the number one step is to state it. Write it down, say it out loud. I desire to have this in my life. I am ready to receive this in my life. Don't say, I want, someday I'll have it. You want to say it and state it in a way that is present time, not something that's in the future, way out there, because then it will stay in the future. This is a key ingredient to the recipe that you're going to write about what it is that you are calling into your life, the intentions you have for your life. So you want to be very intentional. You want to be talking in present time, and you want to state it specifically. Okay. So when you state it specifically, a lot of times we don't even really understand what that looks like. If you're calling in a soulmate, if you're calling in a new job, if you're calling in a whole new occupation, a whole nother direction, if you're calling in home or more money or a new location in which you're going to live. I mean, there's lots of different possibilities, but those are the big ones that most people are trying to call in. A friend group, a community, right? You really don't know all the way what it looks like. You know what it feels like, and that's really important because that's the vibration you want to be in. But you don't really know what it looks like, and that's okay because you don't have to know what it looks like. But you do want to state it. You want to say, and you have to be really specific. So I've said that a couple times. I know. Be very clear about what it is that you are desiring and your intention to have in your life. So once you put that down, you're basically creating a recipe. And sometimes something will just show up and you're like, oh, maybe this is it. And then you're like, no, that's a hard no. That is not it. When that happens, make sure you take time to pause, back up a little bit, and say, what are you here to teach me? What are you trying to show me? Because a lot of times, what it's there to teach you and show you is the things you need to heal. Because of what will get in the way of what it is you desire and your intentions that you would like to have in your life are the thoughts that you're having, the feelings that, the emotions that go along with those thoughts, and the stories you're telling yourself. Those things, those limiting beliefs, those things that are stopping you from achieving the call in, the thing, calling in the thing that you're trying to attract, you need to understand a lot of times is something that you're doing. You might not know it, but it's in there. And this is where the law of attraction comes in, understanding the law of attraction. We are all energy. We all vibrate at frequencies, and scientifically proven that, the law of attraction is like attracts like. So if you are vibrating at a frequency that is low or blocking the thing you're trying to call in, that's what you really need to look at. And that is where the healing needs to start. So we state it. We're trying to be very clear. We are having our eyes open because we believe it's going to come to us, right? But we really need to ask. When we ask, we're bringing up several different points here. One, you can't receive if you don't ask. You can't receive something that you would like if you don't ask for it. So it's important to ask for it. So when I say ask for it, who are we asking, right? I believe we're asking source. We're asking something bigger than us. We are asking the highest deity, the highest power that we just don't even understand, right? And so we are co-collaborating with something much bigger than us, much more than us. And so we are trusting and we believe that it will be provided for us. And it will, because it is part of a universal truth that we are here setting our intentions, doing our work, aligning with the things that we desire, and it will be provided for us. At this point, you have written your recipe, you're refining it every day. This is when I would spend pretty much every single day, and I still do now as I'm trying to manifest in and call in more. I write it every day. I state it every day. I think about it. I daydream about it. I try to be in the energy of it. And this is very important because if you are trying to call in more, right? And these are things that are of a higher vibration that we don't understand. We have not yet achieved some of these higher vibrational frequencies yet. How can we possibly understand them? And so we have to be in the vibration of what it is we are trying to call in. And if we're trying to call in love, then we want to be around what it is that we define as love. And that can be our children, that can be our pets. And hopefully you're having a love affair with yourself. That is where true love all begins, is you falling in love with yourself. And that means the things that you would do for someone else that you love, that you are trying to call in, you do them for yourself. And a lot of people don't understand that concept, and then they wonder why this version of love keeps showing up and it's not enough. And that's because you are not showing yourself enough love. So there's a stretching that's happening as we are trying to expand and become more. We are stretching, and that's why it's a little painful sometimes. That's why it's this feeling of ease because we're not used to it. We're not used to being in these higher vibrational frequencies as we're trying to change and grow and improve and be more. And we are co-collaborating with Source, and Source is more, so much more than we just don't even understand. So we are expanding, we are stretching. It's a little painful, it's a little uncomfortable, but you're doing it. You're practicing your practice. You're showing up every day. You're writing it down. You're refining your recipe, right? These are the things I so desire. These are the intentions I have for my life. But we cannot possibly understand what that looks like, especially when we're co-collaborating with Source. In our limited humanness, we are trying to expand. So as we do that, we might refine our recipe to be, as things come in and teach us a lesson, right? When something shows up, what are you trying to show me here? For instance, like something might show up and you might feel rejected, and the next thing you might feel rejected. Well, why do I keep getting rejected? That's when you need to take a stop and a pause, and you need to go, maybe my vibrational frequency is rejection. And you need to really go in and heal this before you can go on to the next thing, before you can change and level up. And that is the part that a lot of times we get really frustrated with, because we think, I'm doing all the things and I'm calling in all the things. Why am I getting this? Well, because that needs to be healed. Because you cannot be in the higher frequencies if you are still holding on to the things that are pulling you down. So it's honestly a wonderful thing. And when it's there, and when you're feeling all the feels and you're feeling really confused, pause, take a minute. What are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? Oh, I know what this is. This was when I was 4 years old, and, I just constantly got overlooked, and somebody else was always chosen. And that's why I feel rejected. And you can go right to it and you can heal it. And so then you're like, oh, I don't need you anymore. I'm ready to be free of that. And I'm ready to move up and move on. So you're going to be learning lessons. It's not going to happen just like that. And as you very first start doing it and start tuning into it, you will start learning lessons right away. And it's very frustrating. And sometimes you want to just put it down and walk away, and that's okay. But when you're ready to come back, just know that it's part of the process. And that's where you redefine and make that recipe just exactly right. Because then you start to know what you really desire and what you really deserve. That's definitely part of manifesting, period, is understanding that you deserve what Source has in store for you. So you've stated it, you've asked for it, you're refining it, because now you're in the vibration of it every once in a while. And another tip on how to be in the vibration of what it is that you're trying to call in, and this is, I touched on calling in love. If I touched on calling in more money, or calling in the job that you would like, or the life you would like, you need to live in that vibrational frequency. And that is, listen to podcasts, listen to stories, listen to TV shows, or watch movies, read books, read whatever it is that really puts you in that frequency. Be around the people that you know are living in that frequency. Don't lower your vibration. It's really hard to climb out of that lower vibration and then be back up in that higher vibration. So you really want to be conscious of the vibrational field that you're in. And when you do that, it's going to mean you put boundaries down. It's going to mean you start looking at your time and where you spend your time and who you spend your time with. And are you helping me align with what it is I am trying to call in and desire and have intentionally in my life? And that's the part, right? Being very intentional about what it is you're calling in. If what you're trying to call in is over here and all you're doing is spending your time over here, you're not going to align with it. And so that means putting down some things that don't align with what it is you're calling in. One of the last parts of actually manifesting something is putting it down and shifting your focus. And that doesn't make any sense, right? But here's the thing. If you're trying to call in love and love is not coming, you are only focusing on the lack. And if you focus only on the lack, it will knock you out of the vibrational frequency of love. So you need to be, you know, source knows what you want. Source knows what you've desired, right? You've stated it, you've put it out there, and now you need to just wait. But don't wait in the wrong vibrational frequency. You have to wait in the frequency of what it is you're calling in. Take care of yourself. Take yourself on dates. If you're trying to call in more money, you know, treat money the way that you would if you had a lot of it, right? I don't mean spend all of it. I just mean be very conscious of it, be very mindful of it, but not in a way of lack, a way of abundance. So switching and shifting the way that you think and the stories you tell yourself, and start paying attention to that. If you're trying to flip that and say, I live abundantly, and all that you get hit with is, no, you're not abundant. You don't have anything. Where does that come from? What is it trying to teach you? So trying to see what's coming in and trying to show you how to level up in those frequencies. Focus on the abundance. Focus on what you have. And one of the super boosters to doing that is gratitude, appreciation, and love. And this is why those ingredients are so key, is because when we put down what it is we don't have and we focus on what we do have, it just automatically raises our vibration. And for a while, I actually was trying to bring in more love and more appreciation. I really just didn't feel that appreciated, and I didn't feel love the way that I wanted to. And so I started writing down every day, I am appreciated. I am loved. I am grateful. And I truly am. But what started to show up was people were appreciating me. People were grateful for me. And there was an outpour of love, maybe not from the specific people that I really wanted that to have happen, but eventually it did. This is why I have the infinity sign as part of my logo. And that is, as I gave love, appreciation, and gratitude, I recognized love and appreciation and gratitude coming back to me. And it became this cycle where I would just give this outpour. And I did it because I truly appreciated where I was, and I was grateful for all I had, and I wanted to give love. And then it would just come right back to me. I wasn't doing it to gain anything. I wasn't doing it to possess something or control something. I was doing it because I truly believed it and felt it. And so it was returned back to me. And as that happened, momentum started to go. And so those are some super boosters you can put on your manifesting. Just know that it's going to take a little bit of practice, and that as you set out those intentional boomerangs, right? These boomerangs of intention. So we're constantly setting out these desires that we're putting out into the universe. It's kind of like we are putting our order in, right? And it will come to us. Well, if it comes to us and it doesn't look exactly the way we thought it would because it's lower, just know that in that time period, you could have raised your vibration, and what you sent out was in the lower vibration. And so you're like, nope, this is not it. And then you go back and you refine your recipe to say, this is where I'm at now vibrationally. It will all make sense when we put it into context of something that you're looking for. And the reason why I keep going to love is because we've all done this before. We've all, said, I would really like to go on a date, or I'd really love to fall in love. I'd love someone to show up in my life. And then they show up and you're like, no, that's not, oh, that was what I wanted before, but that's not enough now. And I would because I know I deserve better. And I don't mean like people are just not enough. I just mean the way you're treating me is not enough. We state it, we write it down, we say it, we ask for it, and then we start to vibrationally be it. And as we do that and we believe that it is there for us, it's obviously out there, it's going to come to us. Then we put it down. We have to put it down because of the way that we are engineered. We cannot look at something and not see the lack of it. It's that two sides of the same coin sort of thing. We want the abundance, but we are focusing on the lack. So we have to put that down and just focus on the things that keep us in that vibration of what it is we're trying to call in. This is practice. This is something we have to do every day. It's not, and hour by hour sometimes. So just know that that is a thing that we are really trying to focus on. So now I want to tell you a little lessons and stories. First of all, we are spiritual beings having a human existence. And because we are spiritual energy, we move at light speed energetically. Sometimes we can come to a conclusion or we can have an epiphany and we're like, we want to be there right now. And we can't because we live in a human body and in this human plane. And so things move a little slower. And so time becomes a very important ingredient in the recipe that we are creating for manifesting. So just know that it is going to take time. And what is funny about that is it could take hours, right? And that would still be too long sometimes. So just know that time has a purpose, because when we are co-collaborating with Source, we are calling in something so much bigger than we can even imagine. Source is on the other side saying, yeah, I got you. I know what you need. I know what you deserve. I can do this. And we are calling in something like this, right? We're like, oh, I would like to have this in my life. And Source goes, I am going to give you this. And it's just ever expanding. It's so much more than we can even understand. And that is because we are spiritual beings co-collaborating with Source. And Source is like, I got you. Don't worry about this part. But we are so limited. We're limited to what we think can happen. We're limited to what we think it could feel like. We're limited to even believing that we deserve it or that we're worthy of it. And so those are all the lessons that we are trying to heal and learn in that time period. And so just know that it is important that we get time. We get to have the time to literally change the cells in our body as we are evolving and leveling up to this thing that we're calling in. If it showed up, right? If we are calling in this and this much shows up and we have not expanded, we are not open, we are not ready to receive it, we won't receive it. It will show up and we will go, what is that? Why is this here? Because we're not ready for it. And so Source knows that, gives us the time. We are trying to expand. We are trying to understand what it is we deserve and be ready to receive it. And so therefore time is there sometimes and it feels like forever, even when it's just a couple months. So there's that lesson. Also, a lot of times we think that, okay, I really desire to have this in my life. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get it. And we have this chasing mentality, and we need to understand that we do not chase what it is that we are calling in. It literally comes to us. And how does it come to us? And that the way it comes to us is that we become it. We vibrationally become what it is that we want to have come to us, and it just lines up and it will just fall right into place. And if we move out of the way and we listen and we are ready to receive, we don't block it. We look at the things that are blocking it, our thoughts, our emotions, and the way that we tell ourselves that this is going to happen. Be open to knowing that it's going to be so much more and so much bigger. And if it is not, ask yourself the questions. What is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to show me? How can I heal this so that I can get to the next spot where I can receive the things that I so desire and I know are out there? Don't ask why. Asking why is just going to continue to show you the same thing. Ask how you can know and show me what I can learn from this. So those are really important tips. So what happened for me was I knew that I wanted to change directions and I wanted to expand and I wanted to do something different than what I was doing before in my job and my occupation. And it seemed like a really big jump, but it also seemed extremely attainable. And it felt like it was mine. I just didn't know how to get there. And just know that you're not always going to know what it looks like, right? So I sat down and I wrote down, this is what I want to do. This is what I desired. These are my intentions. And I was very specific, even to the hours that I wanted to work, the days I wanted to be in office, not in office, doing podcasting, writing, and, networking and trying to get out there and meet more people and tell them what I do and how I can help. And I was doing it. I was showing up every day. I was trying really hard to do my end of everything. And it just wasn't happening the way that I thought. And I was getting very frustrated and I was getting, very upset with myself and questioning myself and beating myself up. And so, what happens when that happens, you start to knock yourself out of the vibration of what it is you were calling in and focusing on the lack. So as that's happening, I start to realize that I am so out of alignment with source and what it is I was calling in. So when that happens for me, I usually go and I meditate. And the very first thing I do is I ground myself and then I connect to source. And by doing that, I literally stand in the grass. I'm a physical body, part of this earth. So I'm trying to connect to earth. And then I also am the spiritual being connecting to source. So I just align myself with both, right? Get back into my body, align. And then I meditate. I take some deep breaths and I really go inward and I try to close everything out and just listen. And I ask source, what's going on? Do you have any messages for me? And the messages that I got were, stop confusing source. And when I got that message, I was shown a picture of me at a table, placing an order with a waiter. They take the order back. Now they're making my order. And halfway through making my order, I decide I want to totally change it. And I'm feeling really insecure about this order now. And it's basically like, you set your intentions. You said what you wanted. You put your order in. And now you need to give me some time to help you align with it. And then I will send it straight to you. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I will stop confusing source and I will stay on the path. I will stay continuing to do the things and listening and still having my intentions and believing that it's there and putting in my work every day. So when you think you're going to chase something, Just remember that the actual chase is you just staying right here, doing your thing, calling in the thing that you want. Source has got you, and it's going to show up so much bigger and so much more than you can even imagine. And I truly believe that. And it is a practice every day. It's a practice, little bit at a time, giving yourself grace, understanding that you're healing as you are calling in. It is not going to always be easy, because when you are calling in something really big, you are asking yourself to raise up to that vibrational frequency. And that is going to be new, and that is going to be a practice. So it's not going to be something that just happens. I do think that it can happen faster than you believe it can. And it doesn't have to be awful and struggle and just feel awful. It shouldn't feel awful. It should feel wonderful. It should feel happy. Every day should be something where you're like, this is great. I'm working towards my goal of this intention that I set. Not something that's like, oh, this is just so. No, it shouldn't feel like that. Joy is definitely an ingredient in your recipe, and having grace for yourself and patience. All the things that we love, right? Thank you so much for listening to me. And I hope that this has given you a little piece of an idea of something for you. And I hope you have a great day.